Hey everybody, Mr. Piercy here. I'm going to try this one a little bit different since I'm doing this at my desk instead of at my board. I'm going to see if, I don't know, can you see me okay or not? Maybe it'll help give us a little bit of more of a connection, being able to see me once in a while. We're going to continue talking about our constructions here. What we're looking at now is how we're going to do a midpoint and a perpendicular bisector. Now, with all of our constructions, we still need our compass and our straight edge, so you'll need to make sure that you have those handy. Now, these are coming off of what we just did, copying a segment, and this one is a relatively simple construction also. It's one of the more useful constructions because you can use it for a lot of things. Being able to locate the midpoint or create a perpendicular bisector is really very handy in a lot of situations. So the way that we're going to start this is just drawing some segment, random length. Again, I'm not going to measure how long it is, and I will label it point A and point B. And so what we want to do is find the midpoint of it. Now, the way that we're going to find the midpoint is, again, I'm going to kind of do this with my right hand, obviously because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you might want to hold it over here. At some point, you'll kind of have some opportunity to do it in both hands and become slightly ambidextrous with it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the point of my compass at either of the endpoints, A or B. It really doesn't make any difference. And when I do, I want to try to judge. Here we're just using our eyes to kind of judge how far is the midpoint from point B. And I want to open my compass up past that point. So visually it looks to me it's somewhere about here. So I want to make sure I open up my compass further than that. When we're doing this type of construction, we have to open up our compass further along the segment where we think the midpoint is going to be located. So I'm going to open up the compass somewhere past the midpoint where I believe it's located. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a pair of arcs on both the top and the bottom on both sides of the line segment. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of make an arc. I don't really know how long it is or how long it needs to be, so I'm going to just do that. But at the same time, I'm going to make one on the other side. Now, if you want to, you really could do that as one continuous arc, one really long one. But I tend to shy away from that because as you get into doing more constructions, having something that takes up or something that writes so much on a confined space that you're usually working in can make things really messy to work with. So I try to avoid doing that. Now I'm going to go to my left hand here and I'm going to move without opening the compass or closing it in any way. I'm going to move my compass to the other endpoint and I'm going to repeat the process. And I'm going to make an arc above the line and below the line. And what we want to see is where do those intersect. Now at this point, because we're using those, we can make we can call these points, we can give them names. So I can call this one C and I can call this one D. So the midpoint, where is it located? Well, if I take my straight edge and line up points C and D, then when I come down here with my pencil, that point right there should be the midpoint, which I will call point M. Now again, I'm not going to measure this with my protractor. I'm not going to, the ruler part of the protractor, we're not going to use it. We're going to use our compass to see did we measure it properly or did we construct it properly. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to place the point of the compass at one of my endpoints and I'm going to open it up to where the midpoint is. And if I constructed it correctly, when I move the compass, it should, or when I pick up the compass to measure the other half of the segment from A to M, it should be the same distance. So when I move it here from A to M, we can see that the length is still the same. So without having to actually measure what the distance is, we're using our compass to verify that yes, we did indeed locate the midpoint of segment AB. So that is the first part of it. Now the second part is a perpendicular bisector. You see how I labeled points C and D? Well, those points can be used to now create another line segment that would be perpendicular to segment AB and will bisect it. Because it will bisect it, it has to go through the midpoint, which makes sense. The idea of when I bisect something, I cut it into two equal sections. So the construction that we use for midpoint is going to be the same thing that we will do to create a perpendicular bisector. Sometimes all we want is the midpoint, but since we have it, sometimes we need to make a perpendicular line through that point also. I can make it from here down through point D, I can make it from here up through point C, or I could go through both points B or D and C. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line, say just go ahead and go through points D and C. And this time I do want to go ahead and verify, did I measure it or did I finish my construction properly? Is it going to give me exactly 90 degrees? So here I'll use my protractor to actually measure the angle and verify that I did it correctly. And it's a little tiny short, but you can see pretty clearly, just because I could have gone a little further down on the paper at the beginning, I guess. When I put the vertex of the angle at that hole on my protractor, line up the segment AB with the line on the protractor and follow this guy up, that looks really good to me, about 90 degrees. So that is our perpendicular bisector. So now I can put my right angle symbol here and say that AB is now perpendicular to CD. And that upside down T looking thing right here, that is the symbol that we use to say that something is perpendicular to something else. So there's two constructions, basically, or two ideas, a midpoint and a perpendicular bisector being found with the same construction. So that's all we're going to look at in this video, but hopefully you can see me okay, and if it works out, well, maybe we'll do a little bit more if I have to watch the videos here. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions as you're doing these things, let me know. And again, probably need to pause and rewind these videos just a little bit as you practice them. But